this Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, dear listeners and viewers. As you can imagine, and I hope you've been joining us through from 8 o'clock, we've had a really action-packed show today. This last hour of the show from 9 to 10 is brought to you by Africa Muslims Agency, and we're soon to cross over to Ashraf Gangrekar with the daily Fired Up segment. He's going to be talking about the AMA pledge line, but just to tweak your memory a little bit, we started off today with Harith Yusuf, Palestinian documentary filmmaker and writer. We then went to speak to Sam Stein, a young Jewish rabbi who is actually protecting Palestinian villages in the area of Masafer Yatta, the area that's the subject of the film No Other Land, which won an Oscar recently. We then went to speak to Sister Abir Zayad at Al-Quds, and she was joined by Brother Ayub Dadabai, who both gave us an update on the situation at Al-Aqsa at the moment, amid some very concerning reports from Al-Aqsa that Israeli forces stormed the Masjid Al-Qibli yesterday. We then went to our Boycott for Justice segment, where we spoke about the story of Palestine Cola and how we should stop supporting drinks such as Coca-Cola and Starbucks for various reasons, which I gave you. And last but not least, we crossed to Conita Hunter, who gave us an insight into Syria from her recent trip there in our Syria Focus segment. So now, Brother Ashraf, over to you for Fired Up with Ashraf Gangrekar, who is a member of the Africa Muslims Agency. And today he's going to talk to us about the pledge line going live tonight for Africa Muslims Agency on Hilal TV. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Salam Media once again.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Aisha, to the listenership. The blessed Jummah Mubarak to you. Thank you for having us once again.
Shukran Jazilan and Jummah Kareem to you as well.
Aisha, I just want to first commend you and your team, the producers of the program, for really, a profoundly impactful way. When I listened to you with regards to what you've had on your show earlier, I almost feel bad to speak about something, I'm not going to say mundane. It's an important topic for me and for us because it's the sense of service. But really, I want to say to you, what you've just raised in terms of, look back on your show. It is so relevant, so important. So kudos to you. Really well done. So tonight, quite honestly, the pledge lines has been something that's been part, I think, of the South African Muslim community landscape, social landscape for very many years. And so I'm not going to go on about how that works. I think everybody will be familiar with that. Suffice to say that at 9:30, it's the turn of Africa Muslims Agency, in the sense that this is the time that we booked this particular slot. And I want everybody to know that our entire focus this evening, as would be, going forward in this month of Ramadan, is that of feeding. Now, in no ways am I here to guilt anyone by the blessings that Allah has given all of us. And so those of us who have, and some have much more and some have less, alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. But I think if we are all honest with each other, we know that there are people all over the world, starting in our country, for charity must begin at home, that honestly have little or nothing. That for them, their daily life is one of struggle. And as a granny in Malawi said, she says, no, we fast all the time. And if we have something to break our fast, then great. If not, we'll just carry on fasting. And it just brings into mind the stark reality that many millions across the world find themselves. So this particular year, Africa Muslims Agency is feeding in 23 countries all over the globe, from Africa up to and including West Africa, and in the Middle East, like Palestine, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, etc. And so this morning, without being overtly philosophical about all of this, I'm just asking the viewership, the listenership for help. This is the bottom line. So I would love to say that great 19,000 Rand feeds a community of up to 800 people. But I'm well aware, Aisha, that a lot of people don't have 19,000 Rand to give. And that's perfectly fine. But I am going to say that 99% of the listenership We have 120 Rand to give. For that is
Mm.
the cost of what we call the iftar and suhoor box. It's a box that's packaged with nutritious food that it can then be given to a person. It will actually feed two people that will allow them to have iftar and enough for suhoor the next
Fusul.
day. And
Alhamdulillah.
so I'm asking Aisha, people who have listened, and particularly perhaps to myself, I'm going to be selfish. Since last week, Monday, I've been on for 2 weeks. And if you've derived one iota of benefit, or you thought, well, that's an interesting point this guy's make, I'm asking you to tune in, and whether you call, and I'd love you to call, or you simply go onto the WhatsApp pledge line and make your pledge. And then you consciously allow us on your behalf to feed another Muslim brother, sister, or child or granny in another part of the world, or possibly in our country as well. And I just want to urge people to move away from simply the talk or even the intention, and move that tonight towards action. So there's a little bit more than 2 weeks left of Ramadan, and we're all looking. We say yesterday we started speaking about forgiveness. Inshallah, I continue next week. But
Mm-hmm.
we're looking for this, and the Prophet ﷺ says, just two quick hadith. We all know them. That number one, the person who allows or facilitates the breaking of a fast of another fasting person will receive the reward of the one who's fasted without his or her her fast being diminished. Now you have the opportunity this evening to do just that. And the second one, that by giving charity, Prophet ﷺ tells us, give charity, protect yourself and your family by giving charity, even if it is half a date, as
Mm-hmm.
protection from the fire of hell. And so to mix those two tonight, 9:30, Hilal TV, AMA's pledge line. I'd love to hear from everyone who is watching and listening now. Thank you, Aisha.
Jazakallah khair, Ashraf. That was very inspiring, and inshallah, you will reach your targets tonight on the pledge line. Thank you for being with us. Ramadan Kareem for the rest of the month, inshallah. This is my last slot here at Salam
Oh
Media.
man. Okay, that's a pity. All right, we'll try to stay in touch, whatever. I've thoroughly enjoyed our
Inshallah.
engagement, Aisha. Thank you.
So have I, as always. Jazakallah khair. And that was Ashraf Gangrekar from Africa Muslims Agency talking about the AMA pledge line this evening. Um, with two very inspiring ahadith, alhamdulillah. And actually, I spoke to a friend of mine, a doctor in Palestine, in Gaza, actually, yesterday, very briefly. And he said to me that he stayed late at the clinic where he works. And I was actually hoping to get him on the show, but there just hasn't been time. At the clinic where he works, and he said that there's a little, like a soup kitchen nearby. And when he watched the normally dignified Gazans scrabbling for the food because they're so hungry, children literally scrabbling for grains of rice in the sand and eating that rice together with sand because that's how hungry they are. He was appalled and dismayed at the level to which his countrymen and women, his fellow Gazans, have been reduced. Remember also, he said to me, that these are people who were engineers, doctors, teachers, historians, plumbers, electricians, workers of all stripes, but people who had a great deal of dignity. And it is a sad, sad thing that they've been reduced to this. So, inshallah, open your hearts, open your purses, give whatever you can, and Allah will reward you tenfold. As I said to Brother Ashraf, this is my final stint here at Salam Media. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you, listeners and viewers, for being with us, for interacting with us. It's been a pleasure and a privilege, as always. And I hope that the rest of Ramadan, Allah brings you nur, barakah, and lots of afia in this blessed month and beyond. That the nur and barakah and afia of Ramadan stay with you throughout the year till the next Ramadan. If you have the opportunity, please visit Masjid al-Aqsa. It is so very important. I'm making that as one last appeal. Not least, I'd like to thank Brother Ponti and the rest of the Salam Media team, very able producer Nasreen, our studio operator Abdus Salam, and the other team members, Salailo and Puti, who have also contributed a great deal to my week here. I do thank them all from the bottom of my heart. And while they are behind the scenes, although Salailo will be in front of your cameras next week, inshallah, while they are mostly behind the scenes, I hope you will, in your hearts, thank them and make a dua for them as well. And while you're at it, make dua for all those Muslims currently under attack in conflict zones and outside conflict zones, even in so called democracies like the USA and the UK and Germany. Keep them all in your du'as. Keep me in your du'as, inshallah, particularly to make Hajj. I really, really, really want to make Hajj. So please keep me in your du'as as well. It has been an incredible privilege to be with you and an absolute pleasure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.